Question 8. Question 8 tells us that Alwyn often drives from Bangor to Cardiff. He always chooses one of two routes for these journeys. He either travels through Ryder or through Hereford. The probability that he travels through Ryder is 0.7. Sometimes he decides to stop for a break during his journey. His decision is independent of the route he takes, so it's not connected. The probability that he travels through Ryder and stops for a break is 0.42. Question A, part A rather, asks us to complete the following tree diagram. Now, as we know, a tree diagram shows all the possible outcomes of an event. This first branch shows us the route he takes, Ryder or Hereford. The outcomes of an event, an exhaustive event, add to 1. So in this case, we can quite simply write 0.3, which is 1 minus 0.7, to show the probability of him travelling to Hereford. The second set of branches shows the probabilities that he either stops for a break or doesn't. Now, there are no probabilities listed there, so we can't complete that straight away. What the question does tell us is that if the probability that Alwyn travels through Ryder and stops for a break is 0.42. So the probability of Ryder and stops for a break and the probability of a break is 0.42. So we know the probability that he goes through Ryder is 0.7. In probability and is indicated by multiply. The probability of stopping for a break we don't know. Probability of a break we don't know. But we do know that the answer to this equation is 0.42. So let's rearrange this equation by dividing both sides by 0.7 to find the probability that he stops for a break. So 0.42 divided by 0.7 is 0.6. So the probability that Alwyn stops for a break is 0.6, so I can fill that in on my tree diagram. So the probability he stops for a break and the probability that he doesn't stop for a break are exhaustive events, and their probabilities add up to 1. So the probability that he doesn't stop for a break is 1 minus 0.6, which is 0.4. These probabilities are the same whether he goes through Ryder or Hereford, so we can complete the tree diagram by putting 0.6 that he stops for a break and 0.4 that he doesn't. Part B of this question asks us to calculate the probability that Alwyn travels through Hereford but does not stop for a break. So the probability of Hereford and the probability of no break. And I'm just going to let n indicate no break. So it's the probability of Hereford, which, as we can see from our tree diagram, is 0.3. So I'll write that in 0.3. And in probability is always times. The probability of no break is 0.4. So I can write that in, probability is 0.4. So 0.3 times by 0.4 is 0.12. And that's the question answered.